Okay, we are now recording, so welcome back, everyone. I have not looked at any of the problem sets that we sent over, so I'm going into everything.
I'm sorry, I'm the same. I was focused on all the Nisa stuff.
Well, what I was going to say is, if you've had a chance to look over certain problems, throw out what the problem was, and we'll go over it together. So anything that gave you, gave you serious trouble, we'll go over them together. I don't guarantee that I'll be able to get it right off the bat, but we do have the answers here. We do have explanations for the answers. I should be able to, piece together most of it, but let's see what happens. So Lee, you were saying that there was some things you were trying to work through.
Yeah, there were several problems that were like, I knew what kind of problems they were. I knew they had something to do with factorial and permutation combination things. I remember the existence of that, but how to utilize the addition or multiplication of factorials, I wasn't really sure how to approach it. So there were several that were like that. But can I also ask, the things I just want to confirm, quantity A, quantity B, when you have something that looks like that, it's always, the question is always which one's greater or equal, or we don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's either is A greater, A is greater, B is greater, the quantities are equal, or we can't tell.
Okay, because it doesn't keep noting.
Right. It doesn't keep those answers there. But yes, every time you have a quantity A, quantity B, that's what they're dealing with. Okay,
so let's there were a couple of these. Let me see. I also I just downloaded and printed them all, so they're all in random order.
No worries. If they have a page number, tell us what the page number is.
Yes, 700. Let's do that one because there's 3 of them on this page.
Okay, I'm flipping there now.
Tacos.
All right, this is in the probability, combinatorics, and overlapping sets section. Okay,
yes.
It's been a while since I've done combinatoric stuff, but let's give it a shot. Okay, so any particular problem you'd like to start with on page 700?
Problem 3.
All right, top of the page.
First one.
All right, go ahead and read it out.
Okay, a restaurant's menu has several options for tacos. There are 3 types of shells, 4 types of meat, 3 types of cheese, and 5 types of salsa. How many distinct tacos can be ordered, assuming that any one order contains exactly one of each of the above choices?
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write a few things out here on the screen. So using that, so we know there's 3 shells, right? 4 types of meat, so 4 meats.
Yep. Make everybody hungry.
3 types of cheese.
I just ate, so I'm good. I came ready this time.
3 cheeses. And 5 types of salsa. Okay. So how many distinct tacos can be ordered, assuming that any order contains exactly one of each of the above choices? All right, so who has an inkling of how to go about solving this problem?
3 times 4 times 3 times 5.
So I know it has something to do with factorials of these numbers, right?
Hold on a second, Adelaide, do you want to? I'll mute myself so you can.
Would it be as simple as multiplying 3 times 4 times 3 times 5?
Okay, so so Lee is saying something to do with factorials, and you're saying something just to multiply the different values together. Why don't you two talk together and with your reasonings with each other for a second?
Well,
So
Lee,
yeah,
go ahead. Continue with yours.
well, so I do know, and I watched some YouTube videos about when you are trying to figure out how many combinations you have. And again, I don't remember the permutation combination, don't remember which is which. But when you are trying to have a list where you have, you know, how many possibilities are there of all of these things, that for every shell that you have, so let's say you have 3 shells, you're going to have, let's say we have, you know, corn, flour, and I don't know what else, what's another taco shell?
Well, the thing is that you have to take in consideration that, like, for example, the way that I reason that is because you have 3 shells. So then if you have 4 meats, you have to times that. That would give you the combination that you will have for shells and meats. And then if you get that number and you times it times 3, then you'll add cheeses into all of those combinations. And then you grab that number, you times it times salsa, and you'll have the entire amount of different possible tacos that you can have with all of the different ingredients.
I don't think that number is high enough, because I think if we made it simpler, you know, like let's say you had, let's make it even simpler. Like you had 2 shells and 2 meats. Okay, maybe that's a bad example.
How about
that's gonna end up being the.
Let's. I like what you're saying. Let's do that. Let's make a simpler problem. Okay, let's say there's 2 shells.
And like 3
Actually,
meats, maybe.
Let's make it even
maybe
simpler. Let's make it
yeah.
even simpler to start with. There's 1 type of shell and 4 meats. How many types of tacos can we make?
4.
Okay. Right, because it's going to be that 1 shell and 1 with each kind of meat in it, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say we have, let's make it simple to start with. Let's say we now have 2 cheeses. So we have 4 different types of tacos with just the meats, right? With these together, we have 4 tacos. If we add in 2 kinds of cheeses, where does that take us?
I think that does take you to only 8. So in this case, Adelaide is right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, right, because you're going to have 4 tacos with cheese 1. Let's just say cheese 1, and 4 tacos with cheese 2, right?
Yeah.
If I add 1 type of salsa, yeah, this is which equals 8, right? 8 tacos. So if I add 1 type of salsa, now how many kinds of tacos can I make?
8.
Yeah, it's 8.
8.
Oh, why only 8? I added a whole new kind of ingredient.
Because you're adding that 1 ingredient to the tacos that we have. You're not making anything different.
Right. In this case, we had, if we're saying that we have 8 tacos, and now we had a new ingredient, and every taco has to have at least 1 of that kind of ingredient, then we've really changed nothing with our total. If I added 2 kinds of salsa, then what would happen?
16 tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If I added, let's go back to this. So with 2 cheeses, we have 8 tacos, right? What if I had 3 cheeses. How many tacos would we have?
Yeah, 12.
Mm, 24.
No, it would be if you said if you change the 3 cheeses, right?
You're adding a third cheese, C3.
Okay, so then you will have basically 3 times 12 is 12. So yeah, 12 tacos.
Right. So we, what's happening here is you can see that for each new ingredient that we have, we're essentially adding. Oh, do I need to give everyone permission? Yeah, so with each new ingredient we add, we're essentially increasing the number of possibilities of our state space.
Okay. So it's as simple as multiplying them then.
Mm-hmm.
And Adelaide is correct.
I'm going to show you.
Got
Well, let's see. So what you can do with these kind of things is, if you have enough time, you can try and write out either a simplified version of the problem, or try and write up a table. And try and that can help you get in the right headspace of what's the method I need to solve this problem. So yeah, so in this case, it is just multiplying them together. So 3 shells times 4 meats, it's 12, times 3 cheeses, 12, 24, 36, times 5 salsas, and I'll save you the effort, it's 180. So it's 180 different kinds of tacos. Is everyone able to follow that?
Yeah. Adelaide is the champion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You guys want to go on to question number 4, or do you want to, skip around a little bit?
No, go ahead and go for it.
Okay. Someone go ahead and read the question. I'm going to try and figure out how to give everyone the ability to.
Okay, I'll read it. Mute yourself.
Okay.
It says, a history exam features 5 questions. 3 of the questions are multiple choice with 4 options each. The other 2 questions are true or false. If Carolyn selects one answer for every question, how many different ways can she answer the exam? So I guess it would be the same thing. You have 3 that are multiple choice, and then the other ones are true, false. So 3 times 2 equals 2, 6, but we have 5 questions for the exam, so 6 times 5 equals to 30. So she can answer, I would say 30, right? No, guys? No? Vanessa?
Hold on.
It seems too simple, huh?
Wouldn't you multiply like the 4 times 4, like there's 4 multiple choice, 4 multiple choice.
Yeah,
So then
that's
she
what.
could pick like
12
4.
possible.
So it would be like 4 times 4 times 4 times 2 times 2. Because the true and false, you only have 2 options. Does that make
Thank
sense?
you. Yes, it makes sense. Oh, I'm not muted.
But see, yeah, but like, yeah, so this is what I'm not understanding. Why in this example is it 4 times would you do 4 times 4 times 4 instead of 3 times 4 and get 12? And then, I mean, so you have out of those 3 questions, there's 12 possible answers total. And then out of the 2 true and false ones, there's 4 possible answers total. Right? So then I guess, yeah, it's back to like, what do you do with the 4 and the 12 to get?
Okay, I'll go ahead and jump in.
Okay.
Okay, so Lee asked a good question. Why would it be 4 times 4 times 4 instead of 4 times 3? So first of all, 4 times 3 and 4 cubed are different answers, right? Those go up to different numbers, right? So so with 3 times 4, essentially what you're saying is really it's going to be there's 12 options, right?
Yeah.
But that's would only be the case if we were selecting one response from those 12 possible answers, right?
Right. We need to pick 3 out of those 12.
Mm-hmm. So it's not 12 responses that we're picking one of. It's 4 responses we're picking one of, then another 4 responses we're picking one of, then another 4 responses we're picking one of. So let me go ahead and clear this. And we can actually write this out, right? So let's say we have, you know, 4 of these bubbles, right? And we've got another 4 bubbles and another 4 bubbles. So, you know, option 1, you know, is, you know, we've got, you know, let me actually do this a little differently. Option 1 is, you know, we circle A for all of them, right? Option 2 is A, and then B. A, B, A, A, B, B. And essentially, you go down the list, you know, down the whole road doing all of these. What you wind up with, this is essentially, you have, what, 2 to the 8, essentially, whatever. It's a lot. It's a pretty big number. Let's go ahead and clear that because I think that's just confusing because I don't really know how to explain that better. But yeah, if this was 12 bubbles and we were just picking one option from that set, that's how we would get that, you know, that's when we'd have 12 as opposed to 4 times 4 times 4. Essentially, these are 3 different ingredients we're throwing into our tacos. You could think about it that way.
Mm.
You know, we've got,
Gotcha. Yeah.
we've got our shells, we've got our meats, and we've got our cheeses.
Yeah.
So that's why each one of these is separate. And Vanessa and Adelaide were right in that for the multiple choice, or excuse me, for the true false ones, that's another ingredient. Got our salsa. That's 2 options, and I don't know what else do we have. Our pickles or carrots, right?
Guacamole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guacamole is
guac or no guac?
Yeah. Yeah, so those are two more options there. So if we just transform this into our taco problem, so then we've got, what do we got? We got 4 times 4 times 4
Yeah.
times 2 times 2. So 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 times 2 times 2. 32, 64, right? So 64 times 4, 128 times 2, 256, right? Is that right? 256.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's the answer.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's okay.
Sorry, I didn't multiply
I
that
get
straight
it.
across. It's easier for me to multiply powers of 2. So cool. Shall we keep going?
Yeah.
All right. So
The next two are not as painful.
someone go ahead and read number 5. Patsy, you want to try it? You're muted, Patsy.
Sorry, guys. Which page is it again?
700.
Absolutely. 700. I think. Oh, I lost it. Hold on. Let me see. No. Sorry, I clicked out of it and now I can't find it.
Adelaide made some really, really good like apple cinnamon overnight oats. These are fantastic.
Okay. Number 5. Ooh, sounds good. Good job, Lily. Okay, so number 5, correct? Okay, is this the right one? The probability? Is that the right one? Okay.
Yeah.
So the probability is 1/2 that a certain coin will turn up heads on any given toss. And the probability is 1/6 that a number cube with faces number 1 to 6 will turn up any particular number. What is the probability of turning up a heads and a 6?
Okay, guys. So we did a whole like 20 minutes on basic probability questions. And do you remember what I told you guys? Like,
Yeah.
I'm almost guaranteeing you, like, if you get a probability question, it's going to be either coin flips or a dice roll. And what's this question? It's both.
One. Hopefully it's the same one.
Okay, so I gave you guys all the tools you need to solve this kind of a problem before. So I'm going to let you guys take over.
So yeah, I did this one. But unless anyone else wants to take a stab at it.
So we multiply.
Cross multiply.
Is it an easy? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it seemed really easy.
Yeah, it's like
No, there's no way
After
I could.
Scotty taught
It can't be that.
taught us the rules.
Oh, I was like looking.
I know. I'm like, is it 112? It can't be 112.
Well, that's why, is this like the easy page? Because like the first two, I was also like, they can't be that easy. They have to be so complicated.
What?
Oh, sorry.
You ruined my thumbs up.
Oh man.
It's like an ice cream you dropped on the ground.
Yeah, no, my heart.
Yeah, sorry, because when I grab the mouse, the whiteboard I think is connected to my mouse. So if I move the mouse, then it goes. Oh. But yes, this problem is that simple. So fantastic, great job.
Yay.
And explain why is that the answer?
because
it's an and, so you multiply them.
Right.
yes. Oh wow. I don't know. I was just gonna say because they already gave us the breakdown of the probabilities. So all we have to do is basically just solve for the probability that they want.
Oh. All right. So with that, what's the probability of, so that was the probability of getting a heads and a 6. So what's the probability of getting tails and a 1?
The same.
The same.
Yep, it's the same.
I love how they don't call it a die. They call it a number cube with faces. Numbers 1 to 6.
Yeah, they're trying to be a kind of explicit.
They're trying to
Yes.
just make you consume time so you can waste it and score lower.
Okay, so how about number 6? Who wants to read number 6?
I can read again.
Go for it.
Okay, so an integer is randomly chosen from 2 to 20 inclusive. What is the probability that the number is prime? I don't
Okay,
remember those words.
all right, so what is a prime number? We haven't talked about it on our testing days, but who can tell me what a prime number is?
I can field this one if you want. A prime number is a number that is only divisible by itself and 1. So it has no, we did talk about factors.
Mm-hmm.
And so a prime number is one that has basically no factors outside of itself and 1.
That's correct. Okay.
So the lower ones are easy. You just have to memorize them, I guess.
Well, one thing is, like, sure, there's some really mathy people out there who probably have the, prime numbers up to 100 memorized or something, could pull out of the top of their heads.
Yeah,
but,
that's crazy.
We don't have that. So what are the numbers? What are the prime numbers up to 20?
3, 7.
Well, skipping a few.
So 2.
3, 5.
1, 2, 3, 5, yeah. 7.
5, 7, 9,
11.
11, 13,
Yeah.
15.
No, 15 is divisible by 3 and 5.
17.
Yeah. And 19.
19. That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay, that looks good. So it says chosen from 2 and 20 inclusive. So we're going to ignore 1, right? So if we're looking from the numbers 2 through 20, how many prime numbers do we have? Got 1, 2. Got 8. Right? So if we have 19 numbers, right?
Yeah.
And 8 of them are prime.
8 over 19.
Okay, so 8 over 19. Let me check if that's right. Okay, who thinks that's right?
I did think that's right until you just asked that.
Show of hands. Any objections? Going once, going twice? It's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like I'm on a game show. Like making a question. Is that your final answer?
Is that your final answer? All right. Yeah. No. That's it. It's the number of the number of target possibilities over the total of over the number of total possibilities, right? So yeah, that's it, and it does not simplify. That's as far as you can go. Because 19 is prime, right? So you can't simplify.
You can't. 19 is also prime. That's just I'm sure whoever designed that question like giggled a little bit.
Ah, math humor.
Yeah.
All right, last one for this page. Who wants to read?
I'll read,
Go for
and
it.
then I don't know if maybe I can try. It's just the reverse of the top two. So, an Italian restaurant boasts 320 distinct pasta dishes. Each dish contains exactly one pasta, one meat, and one sauce. If there are 8 pastas and 4 meats available, how many sauces are there to choose from? So I think I know how to do this now.
Go ahead.
So if it's as easy as, if we were trying to figure out how many total options there are by multiplying all the pastas by all the meats by all the sauces, we can just divide to get the missing number. So 320 divided by 8 divided by 4 gives us 10. So there should be 10 sauces. And so why did I think these were so complicated? I don't know what I was, I know that there's another page which has the other ones. Maybe I read that one first.
Okay, and yeah, that's correct. So there is
Yeah.
the answer is 30, or excuse me, the answer is 10.
Can you
Cool.
write down how you solved it?
Adelaide says, can we write down how he did that? Yes, I'll go ahead and work through it. So, so what Lee said is, the question's asking how many sauces, number of sauces, right? And it tells us there are 8 pastas, so types of noodles. There are 4 meats. And there are a total of 320 total combinations. So, and each dish, it says, has one pasta, 1 meat, and 1 sauce. So it's asking how many sauces do we have? So this is kind of the tacos problem, but backwards. So we know 8 pastas times 4 meats times, let's call it S.
Sauces, yeah.
Yeah.
S, yeah.
Equals 320. So how would we find the number of sauces?
So times 8 times 4. So then we would have 8 times 4 being 24 times S.
24?
Isn't it 24?
It's 32.
Oh. I was just testing you guys. Can you erase
took
the
a
24?
nap.
Can you erase the 24? Sure. Erase it. Make the pencil again because I can't make it.
There you go.
Okay. So 32, good catch. And then you're gonna divide this by 32 as well as the other one, right?
As long as you're dividing
Yeah.
entirety of both sides.
And then that would cancel this out. So S equals to 10. Right? Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Lee.
Good job.
Yay.
Okay. So yeah, that was a full page of probability stuff. How are you guys feeling? It's about it's a little before 5 o'clock. How long would you guys like to go today? Would you like to go another half hour, another hour?
I would say another page.
Another page? Okay. So do we want to keep going with probability, or do we want to try something else?
I think the arrows page.
I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
What do you guys think about page 855 or
Let's see all the page numbers. So.
855 would be a nice
yeah.
one.
Okay. Yeah, that one's not too painful.
Hopefully. We'll see.
The
There's a bunch of
as-
ankles.
That one's actually on there. I think that one got scanned twice. Right?
Yes. There's
Okay.
one with a finger
that's
and
the
there's one without a finger.
Okay, yeah. That's whose finger is that?
Scotty's finger.
Oh, okay.
I pulled up the finger one.
Nice manicure.
I know. He has better looking nails than I do.
It's my gamer thumb. Okay, so page 855, everyone okay with that? All right then. All right, so lines L and M are parallel. So, let's see what this question asking for. And again, I have not looked at these problems yet, so I'm kind of coming to these fresh here. Okay. X and Y are angles. L and M.
Fresh.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Who wants to try and tackle this one? I think I have an answer for this. Yeah. Okay.
That fast?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm right. Okay.
I mean, I picked an answer, but
Okay. Okay. So we've got.
I don't want to stop Vanessa or Patsy from taking a turn though. No? Okay.
So this is line L, and this is line.
People, all the
N.
comments on our YouTube channel are going to be like, "This guy Lee is hogging the conversation."
Oh, I disabled comments, but
Okay.
so quantity A is X plus 2Y, and quantity B is 180. So who has thoughts about this?
I have thoughts.
180. We already know what angle that is.
I'm going to go ahead and mute myself so you can discuss.
So we already know that 180 is going to be basically like the whole open angle at the top, and then the other. So we already know that quantity. For quantity A, we would have to do X angle and then Y's angle times 2, which I believe that quantity A would be larger just by looking at it because of the type of angle that X is and the type of angle that Y is. And if we were to time Y times 2, it's bigger than, I'd say it's bigger than, it would be a total of 180 alone with Y, and then we would just be adding the X.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
But that's the same thought process. I have X plus Y is going to equal 180.
Yeah.
So
A quick little detail here is L and M are parallel.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, and so this is just one straight line kind of crossing through both of them. So why would x plus y equal 180? Why is that, Lee?
So here I'll do a little annotate.
Okay.
So we can actually, because when you have like an intersection, the angle that's across from x is going to also equal x, right? And because these lines are parallel, that's really crucial for us to know, because that tells us that like the vertical line is going to be hitting each line at the same angle, which means that this is also x. So these are all equal angles. So we can see
can you actually fill in all of the angles on those 8 crosses there?
You could, yeah. It would be x and y, and each. This would be across from y. You could fill in all of them. So in any x plus y on any side, is going to be half of a circle. So that's 180. And yeah, so if we have x plus y equals 180, 2y is going to be higher. We don't know what the number is. We don't know, but we know it's adding a whole nother angle. So it's basically this. So it's going to be greater than 180.
Okay, that was a great explanation. Okay. Anyone have any questions about that? How Lee did that? Okay. Adelaide, great job too. Yeah, you had the right thought process on that. Yeah, it's the key here is that when you have a straight line, this angle is 180 degrees, right? And if you bisect that somewhere, these two angles together, angle M and N here are going to equal 180. And so what Lee did by filling out the other angles up here on our lines, you can see that x plus y is going to equal 180. No matter which x and y you add, they're all, those are all the same, because it's one line essentially bisecting L and M. And we know that the angles are going to be the same because L and M are parallel. So it doesn't matter where on L and M the line cuts them, the angles are going to be the same. Okay, great. So yeah, the answer is quantity A is greater. Shall we keep going? Shall we go to question 11 on this page? All right.
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
All right. Sure, it looks similar, huh? Let's take a look.
Sure does.
Okay, so we've got angles A, B, C, and D. And over here we've got angles E, F, G, and H. Okay. This is line L1, and this is line L2. L1 and L2 are parallel. and angle A is greater than 90. Okay, that's the information they gave us. So quantity A is A plus F plus G. Quantity B is B plus E plus H. All right. Who wants to tackle this one?
Adelita.
Okay, so we know that these lines are parallel. Can you mute your mic, please?
Oh, sure. There we go.
So if we know that these lines are parallel, then we can safely assume, I would say, that B equals F, C equals G, A is greater than 90 degrees. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm, no. B equals F, C equals G, A equals E, and D equals H. So we can then now see that A plus F plus G, A, F, and G. It would be the same thing as writing E plus C plus B. You see, then we have B plus E plus H.
Do you want to write it on the whiteboard? You can come over and use the pen.
Okay, give me one second. Ah!
Mute your.
Doing it right, but
Here you go.
I'm gonna be on Zelda's land now. Breath of the Wild. Okay, where am I?
Take the pen. Did you get it? Oh, there it is.
Okay, so let me see. Okay, so then we'll have, I think I was saying, do I have to hold the button?
No.
So A degree, it's gonna be equals to F degree.
Why is that?
Because of the parallel rule, then those, oops, not that one. Right? No? Don't make me waste their time. This is not good.
Click the squiggle. There you go.
B and, oh my gosh. Well, I can fix it. There you go. E. No. Wait. It's A and E. Oh, I need to look at my notes.
Is it A, C, and F and H are similar?
A, C. Right. So A, C are similar, which then, oh my God, what did Lee do? These two would be similar. And so then this one would be similar, right, babe?
To
G.
And I think E and G are similar to A and C.
So
Yeah,
E and
A,
G.
C, E, and G are all the same.
A, C, E, G. And so B
And D.
B and D
And F
and
and H. F and H?
there you go. Okay, so then you can just plug in the numbers and figure it out, which if I were to do one line under this one and this one would be the first one here, would be A. I don't know if I should write it down, but, and then for the other one would be B, E, and H. Which one's greater? They're both
I
the
think
same,
A would be greater.
So we know A is larger than 90.
And then quantity A has 2 of them, which
Let
are
me have
larger than
Scotty
90.
listen because I'm like, I came to a stop in my thought process.
Okay, I'll wait till Adelaide can get her headset back on.
I can hear you, so it's fine. Okay.
Okay, so if we started solving this problem this way, which we can do, then there's something very important that we should look at. If we're saying, okay, really there's only 2 angles here, right? We don't know what those values are, but we do know one very important thing. We know that angle A is greater than 90.
So then,
if we know that angle A is greater than 90, what does that say about angle B?
It's less than.
Right. That implies that angle B is less than 90. So, given that, so if we're saying angle A, C, E, and G are all this, you know, we can say these are all, you know,
Equal.
equal. So what is quantity A? We could just say is equal to 2A plus 1B, right? And then quantity B would be 1 of A plus 2 of B.
so A is greater.
And if you know that A is greater than B, 2 A's are greater than 2 B's, and 1 A is greater than 1, you know, so that's kind of how I would, you know, look at this if we wanted to solve it that way. That's how I would try and like sort it out.
I solved it a more visual way, I guess.
I did as well, but I wanted to show that you could solve it this way.
Yeah.
I think it's a little more complicated to solve it this way, though.
To like turn it into an algebra problem, basically.
Right, because you can't really solve it. It's like, it's still a little tricky. I think doing the visual way is a little bit simpler. Lee, why don't you you want to take a crack at it?
Sure.
So you can just kind of walk us through it. Yeah.
So we have angle A. So it's pretty similar to how I approached the last problem. Was that we have A is one angle, and then B is the other angle, which is smaller. We know that A is bigger than B. And so in our options here, we have A and B. But then the other options are F and G and E and H. So we already discussed how A, C, E, G are all equal. And B, D, F, H, B, D, F, H are all equal. So if A and B together make 180, basically what I did was like I looked at the other angles and I was like, okay, FG, that's 180. EH, that's 180. So essentially I canceled these out.
Right.
I was like, they're both 180, and all I'm left with is A versus B, and I already know that A is greater.
Great, great, okay. And that's the part that I kind of missed here with the sort of algebra way, is that if we know that A plus B equals 180, then down here, what does quantity A become?
Oh yeah, you could solve for it, yeah.
It becomes A, and quantity B becomes B, right?
Yeah, because you could substitute the...
So if you swap the two, quantity A is A, and quantity B is B, then you're left with basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, over here, right. F and G is 180, E and H is 180. Either route that you take for this, you wind up with the same, the same outcome. Is that quantity A is essentially something greater than 90, and quantity B is something less than 90.
Yeah.
Does everyone see how that works out? So yeah, you can solve this either way. In this case, I think if you kind of look at it visually, I think that allows you to kind of solve it a little faster, but you'll get to the same place. So great job, Adelaide. Great job, Lee. Fantastic. Shall we go on to the last one on this page, number 12?
Yes, I think I can tackle
Sure.
that one, you guys.
Go for it. Go for it. Do you want me to draw the graph out for you first?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You have the fancy pen.
Okay.
Oh, here, I can exit the annotation.
Okay. Let's
So here's the graph and almost.
Okay, let me see.
While you're drawing that, I'm putting a joke in the chat.
I'm already laughing. I don't even know what it is. I'm already laughing.
I know.
Oh, how cute. I like that one. I've heard that one. That one is cute.
Yeah.
5 C and D. Okay, so there we go. And the question is A plus B plus C plus D equals what? Okay, take it away.
Okay, so let me see if I can. How do I draw? It's my first time trying to draw, guys. So bear with me. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, cool. Okay, so we know this angle is 35 degrees. We know that this one is 35 degrees as well. Where did it erase? Where'd it go?
No, you can see your 35.
It's there. Sorry, it erased on my end. I couldn't see it. Okay. Thank you, Lee. So we know that's 35 degrees as well. My only question is, I was debating this angle right here. Well, the same as the other ones. Does it equal 90 or 180? Can you guys see it? Did it draw it out?
Oh.
I'm trying to remember this.
Yes, we can see it.
That equals
I don't
90.
think we.
90? Okay, good. Okay, then I did it right.
I don't think.
Well,
okay.
I don't think we know that for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically say that X and Y are perfectly perpendicular.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think it doesn't matter in this
Right,
problem
okay.
that we, whether they're perpendicular or not. Whether or not B, whether or not that angle is 90, there are other things you do know. You do know that line X and line Y are straight lines. You do know that much. They're not curves.
Yeah, they're equal. Okay.
Is that something you can always assume in these things, that they're straight lines? They'll tell you if it's a curved line or something.
I think because they have the little arrows at the end of those lines, so you know that they are
that
lines.
Means it continues.
And a line, specifically a line is a straight, like it's a straight line that extends forward and backwards infinitely.
Yeah. Okay.
By its
Got
definition.
it. Okay, that makes more sense. I wanted to make sure because, so.
But
I'm
yeah,
saying
definitely good. Don't assume anything unless it's stated explicitly. So yeah.
So
but I'll,
can
go
I
ahead.
not?
Except for the things.
Okay, so let me see. I might be wrong then, guys. I'm just taking a shot here. So with A and C, I can't assume that. Oh, I can't wait. Wait, hold on. It's not letting me write anymore. Okay, there it is. So I can't say that this is 90. Sorry, I'm trying to do it with the mouse and it's not turning out very nice. I can't say that C and A are 90. Or is it safe to say
No, because
that
they could be
are?
like 89, but there's. I think you're on the right track though.
Well, Patsy, the only reason why in the other one we could safely assume that angles were a certain amount, it was because we had the word parallel, and in math there are rules that support, you know, if
That
in
they're
this
equal.
yeah, in this scenario it's this, but because they're parallel, in any other scenario it'll be the same thing. But only because we had that keyword. In this one, you can never really truly assume that you'll have a 90-degree angle, even if it looks like one, because you don't have that rule applying to this. That's why the 35 is not the 35 on the other side.
So it isn't. Okay, then I did it wrong.
No, I think.
I'll go ahead and jump in.
I mean,
Well, it's
I
it's
think,
a potential. It's
You
not
would
like
end up at the same answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so
because
so,
I got 300.
yeah. Well, so
I don't even
everyone
know that's
is
the right answer.
everyone here is I would say correct in assuming that no, you can't assume that B plus 35 is 90. You can't assume that. However, you can assume a few other things.
Can we
one
just
thing
add
we
the 35 and 35 and subtract it to the 360 that it is?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did.
So
that's kind of like where I was getting, but I guess I was going a completely different way.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say is, you know, whether or not, you know whether this is perfectly parallel to be a 90-degree angle, you do know that whatever this angle is plus this angle, even if it's split up with 3 or 4 other angles, all these angles together, if this is a straight line, you know that that equals what?
360 or 180?
180.
180,
right.
sorry, 180.
180, right. And no matter how many angles we have shooting off of this thing, you know that all of those angles added together equals
360.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So from there, go ahead.
Oh man. Okay. Now I got kind of confused. Well, my answer is 300. I don't even know if that's right. Is that right?
You're close.
Because
so how did you get 300? Go ahead and write it up.
Okay, this is what I did. I just show you guys what I did, and I know I told you wrong, but this is how I kind of understood this. So knowing that 35 over here is also equal to 35 on this side, I assumed that it was a 90-degree angle. So I was like, okay, so A and C are also 90 and 90. So we'll subtract the 35 from the 90. Sorry guys, it keeps not letting me annotate. So I just did 90 minus the 35. So I got 60. Maybe did that math right? Okay. And then
90 minus 35 is
minor math error there.
Yep, I did the math wrong. That's where I went wrong too. So sorry, 55. Erase it. Okay. So okay. So 55. And then I did it twice because we're trying to solve for both angles. Sorry guys, my annotation is horrible. Obviously I don't have a fancy pen like Scotty. Oh my god, now I see how hard it is. I applaud you, Scotty. Okay, so 55, 55. And then we have our 90s. So I just did 90 plus 9, or plus 6, plus 55. I had 60, sorry. Plus 90, and then plus 55. And that is a total. Let me redo my math here. So, yeah. Wait, did I still get 300? Hold on, guys. Sorry. 290. Is that wrong?
You're right.
I did it! Oh my
That is
god!
correct.
Yay!
So
Just I had a math mistake, guys. I'm sorry.
that's okay. You got it. But I do want to, stress here though that you were correct. B plus 35 in this case did happen to be 90.
But it's not always going to be 90. So what would be the case if it's not 90? How do you solve it?
35 plus 35 minus 360.
Right, so
yeah. I can jump in if you
How do I exit? Okay.
well,
Oh, there
I'll
it is.
just minus 35 plus 35. Yeah, so this would certainly be a little quicker way to get the same thing, which is a minus 70 equals 290. But yes, I would say so yeah.
I took the long way. My bad.
That's okay. It's okay. You got there. That's great.
because there could be, like, I guess what you're saying there, because we can't assume that C is 90. C could be 89, and D could be 56. You'd still get the right answer in this question, but if it was another question where it was like, what's C plus?
It wouldn't work. Yeah, I see now.
Yeah.
I totally understand. So it's always safe to assume that it is going to be equal to 360. And if we ever get an actual amount, like a degree like we did here, then whatever times we have to do it, then we would add it or subtract it, and then, or whatever the case may be. I see now.
There's a few things you can always assume. You can assume there's 360 degrees in a circle. There's 180 degrees, but from for a line, from one section of a line, turned over to the other side of the line is 180. Parallel lines, lines crossing two parallel lines always produce the same angles. You have complementary angles that are in the opposite corners. Those are always equal. Those are the sort of things you can always assume, even if it's not stated, because those are just the definition of a lot of those things in math. But here, since they didn't specifically say that X and Y were parallel, that would be something that I would be very suspect about assuming. In this case, it did actually happen to be true. That did happen to be the case. But I would say be very careful about assuming that if it's not stated. Otherwise, though, great. You did solve the problem. You did get the correct answer.
Thank you for being patient with me. Even to don't do what I do, because you won't have that much time.
But it does also show that be very careful with your basic arithmetic, because you can have the right thought process going into a problem and do all the right steps, and then
but then I'm off by 10.
Yeah.
I was just trying to rush through it, so yeah, it'd be hard.
But yeah,
you did it, you guys.
I've always felt
you
the
all passed the GRE.
I've always felt the arithmetic was the algebra part of questions was far harder than anything else. So yeah, definitely be very careful and with your math. And if you have to do it do the simple math on a calculator, because that's the stuff that the calculator will help you with. The calculator's a lot better at addition and subtraction than we are.
True story.
Machine, our robot overlords.
Yes.
Otherwise, great job. How are you guys feeling? Do you want to keep going, or do you want to stop there for the day?
I think we can put a pin in it if that's okay with you guys.
Okay, that's great though. We got a little bit of combinatorics and a little bit of geometry done. So,
Yay. And then he's waiting for another nap.
Trust me.
Oh
I'm
no.
gonna head over to the sofa.
all right, well, that's great. Great job, everyone. I'm really happy that we're transitioning more to this format where everyone picks up the pen and tries to write a little bit and work the problems out a little bit together. That's great, because you're gonna learn a lot more than if I just sit here and lecture to you.
We all
Even
need
if
fancy
you get stuck
pencils, though.
halfway through.
Yeah, erase my madness there. It's horrible.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording now. And
Okay.
here we go.